What might keep the Ogallala Aquifer from running completely dry? Economics.
I don't think we'll ever drain the aquifer, if that's the question that's underneath this. There's an economic limitation that comes into play. It just becomes too costly to pump a gallon of water.
Here's the Ogallala Aquifer. It's a huge groundwater resource that underlies parts of 8 states, including the Texas Panhandle. Agriculture uses 90% of water pumped from the aquifer, and it uses more per year than nature can refill.
I think we need not to get panicked that we will run out of water. Water for human consumption, there's no problem for this area. But for irrigated agriculture, water is going down.
As the aquifer depletes, it will take deeper and deeper wells and more natural gas or electricity to bring water to the surface. Those costs are among the reasons experts believe there won't be enough water in the aquifer to support irrigated agriculture in Texas by 2100.
So we have to tactfully, strategically shift those crops to either dryland or livestock grazing or other uses. You can't increase the supply of water. So we are working on the demand side.
Ag producers already are adapting, but the decision to switch from irrigated crops to dryland varieties is not an easy one.
The farmers, they have invested in their infrastructure. If you put an irrigation system, you have invested a lot of money. 1 mile radius irrigation sprinkler system costs almost $250,000 to $500,000, depends on all the things or which system you are going to put on. And that irrigates only 500 acres. So how you are going to repay if you are not going to pump water and irrigate your crops? So it will be slowly shifted to maybe from high water use crops like corn or alfalfa, or mostly we produce corn and sorghum here, cotton as well as wheat. So we will switch from high water use to intermediate first, and then to the low water use crop, and then it's going to be dryland. They are going to say that, okay, we are going to not have cultivate full circle. We are going to cultivate half circle.
The other portion of the pivot circle gets planted with a less thirsty crop.
Go to Google Maps and back out a pretty long ways and see that irrigated land is going to be the green circles that you see when you back out in Google Earth. And it's not a very big percentage. There's a lot of land out there that is growing without benefit of irrigation, and a lot of it is going back to rangeland as well, or some kind of pasture.
Agriculture is an industry. That's why the size of agriculture firms or in number of acres has increased to make it more economically feasible and profitable. The average size of the farm in north of I-40 in this area is about 6,500 acres to 6,700 acres. We have bigger machines. That's why the smaller farms like 100 acre or quarter section 160, they won't be feasible economically. So either they are selling that part or to the big corporations or the big partner companies. That's why the number of farmers are reducing in US, but the size of farm is increasing.
What do you foresee as the future of agriculture here in the next several decades?
If I were to look into a crystal ball, I think we're going to see a huge split, 2 different directions happening almost simultaneously. Middle-sized farmers, those farming a couple hundred acres, maybe 1,000 acres, I think we're going to see them disappear over time. The reason being is that right now, if you want to make it in production agriculture, you have got to go big. Thousands upon thousands of acres, 10,000 acre farm production. I think we're going to see that trajectory. Consolidation of farmland between a few farming families or even farming companies. So some companies will buy land as well. So I think that's one direction that we're going to see. At the same time, I think we are going to see a lot of small-scale vegetable production and animal production that's more like farmers market driven. I think young people within that millennial and Gen X generation, I think they are excited to get on the land and be integrated into the land and the ecosystem of it. They want to grow produce. They want to have chickens and pigs. They want to be making eggs. They want to go to farmers markets and get food that means something, that is full of nutrients. I think we're going to see an uptick in that, admittedly. How these two are going to play and communicate with one another, perhaps side by side, who's to say? My hope, though, too, would be that we would be incentivized as landowners, whether it's through policy, government programs, or even just personally, because we're seeing the land need a shift in more prairie grass, more grazing animals. I think it was Timothy Egan in his book, The Worst Hard Time, where he had quoted somebody saying that the Llano Estacado was a land that was for grass and animals that eat grass. My hope is that we acknowledge that reality and perhaps begin to return it to that.
The Ogallala will continue to diminish, agriculture will continue to adapt, and we'll keep bringing you stories of sustainability on the high plains. Water isn't an issue for the future, it's an issue for today. Subscribe to this YouTube channel and we'll keep you informed.
At Panhandle PBS, our reliable news reporting and fact-based storytelling has always been free. We're proud to offer our work for free thanks to generous support of viewers like you. If you appreciate our journalism and would like to see it continue, please consider making a donation to Panhandle PBS today.